Welcome to another episode of the Self-Aware Leader Podcast, where we explore the intersection of leadership and spirituality. And I want to talk about this rapidly changing world. And in this episode, we're going to tackle a critical issue that's affecting not only leadership and leaders, but every single one of us living in this polarized society. When I use the word polarized, what I'm meaning is this politically, I don't even want to, I'm going to address this today. And I want you to understand one thing. I'm not left wing. I'm not right wing. I'm not right wing. I'm not left wing. I'm not centric. I always say I'm for throwing the whole bird out. Get rid of both wings. So today, when I talk about being politically neutral and maintaining a balanced perspective, how refreshing would that be if you're focusing on another human and not worried about your ego judging them to see if they belong in your tribe or not? As a leader, if you, let's do it this way. If you had a leader and they just looked at you with pure love and this pureness of wanting you to be the best version that you can be mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, and they were politically neutral, and when they had conversations with you, it was coaching, it was optimistic, it was helping you become a better person. They didn't judge you for who you are, what you want to be, what you think you are. They just maintained a balanced perspective. How would that make you feel as an individual? And I know it's hard. Our ego wants to grab on to this tribalism. It wants to say, I identify externally with this. I want this label, and I want to label everyone around me with this label. But it doesn't work that way, guys. Navigating the political landscape in this world right now that is more divided, and every single day it gets more divisive. If you want to be a self-aware leader, it's going to require the ability to step back and view the broader picture. And I know, and I'm telling you, I face it too. And I fail some days. It is easy to become consumed by the constant barrage of news. Everyone has an opinion. There's podcast debates. There's AM radio debates. There's CNN and MSNBC and Fox News. And there's all the spectrums of the left and the right. You can literally surround yourself with tons of information, and politics could be every part of your life. And that's what's happened. It used to be the 6 o'clock news and you heard it for about an hour and then you were good to go on CBS, NBC, ABC. But now it's 24/7 and it's just not on television. It's everywhere we go. So as self-aware leaders, we must learn to maintain neutrality. We need to avoid being swept up in the emotional currents of these discussions. Now, I'm not telling you not to be informed. I'm not telling you not to be engaged in the issues, because these things affect our world and affects us globally. But I am telling you, number one, to cultivate emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our emotions. And as a leader, those of others. I'm going to say this again. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, to understand, and manage our emotions and those of others. So in the context of political neutrality, emotional intelligence is number one, guys. It's essential. It helps us separate our ego and our emotions and our false beliefs from the facts, opinions, and arguments we encounter. When you develop emotional intelligence, then you can engage in political conversations. How? How can you engage? How are you going to engage? not with trickery, not with the ego taking the main, like it comes in there. I want to see where they're at. I want to know where they're at. Can I be friends with this person? If they're this way, da, 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 da. It's just going to, it's like waiting for them to just speak. So, it just blows up. No, no, no. We engage in political conversations with empathy and understanding. And we allow these conversations not to sway us emotionally or with our biases. Well, how do you do that, Jason? That's really, really hard. Well, you have to practice active listening. And I've done a podcast on this. You can search it. There's a whole podcast on active listening and how to do it. Active listening is a skill that goes way beyond just hearing what others say. It involves truly understanding the speaker's point of view and not just trying to think and understand it, not trying to think so that you can talk next, but you're thinking so you can ask clarifying questions, so that you can give feedback that's positive, that's for the person, not against them. When you practice active listening, then you can engage in political conversations. You know why? Because you have an open mind and you have genuine interest in learning from others, regardless of their political stance. We used to have a desire to learn. We used to have an open mind and always wanting to be able to change our minds. I love it when I change my mind. I love it when I go back and forth and flip-flop on things, and I'll read one book and then I'll be like, well, that's where I'm at. And then I read another book and it's like, well, that just questions everything with that. It's awesome. We should be, guys, having a genuine interest in understanding. How big is that for you as a leader? When you pick a side and then you have tribalism, there's no learning involved. The only learning you do is to have those quick bullet points so you can make your case a little bit better. That's all ego. It's all ego, guys. And you know what? And we used to do this. We used to find common ground. And as self-aware leaders, our goal should be to build bridges and find common ground with others. You don't tear up bridges and blow them up. You build bridges with people, regardless. You build bridges with your enemies because they're not really your enemies, are they? That's your perception, but it's not true reality. We don't fuel division. We find common ground and we build a bridge through that common ground. We look for areas as a leader of agreement. We look for areas in everyone because we can find shared values. And they may seem in that moment minor in comparison to the disagreements, but unity is never minor. Unity, more than anything, is needed in this country. And I'm telling you right now, by focusing on the commonalities, we begin as a leader in a safe space to foster open dialogue. We begin to take our employees and our team members and cultivate understanding. And then as we model that, people with opposing views began to have conversations that have empathy, that have love, that have respect in them. It's so important, guys, that we follow this as a leader. I believe the next step in this is to embrace humility. Humility is a key aspect of your spiritual growth, and it is a vital trait for every leader that is out there. How do you recognize humility? By understanding that you don't have all the answers. By recognizing that, no, I don't have all the answers, and I'm more than happy and willing to learn from others, even those with opposing views. And I'm going to allow myself to maintain political neutrality, because every political discussion that's out there, I'm going to have humility. And I'm going to acknowledge that my perspective may only be a small piece of the puzzle. Do you get that, guys? That's humility. understanding that I don't have all the answers. I've only got 49 years of the puzzle piece for hundreds of millions and billions of years in a universe. The information that's out there, it's just a drop in the bucket to what my 49 years have tried to understand. So I definitely do not have all the answers. Next, stay informed, not consumed. It is crucial for leaders to be well informed about current events and political issues. However, getting consumed by the 24/7 news cycle is detrimental to your mental and emotional well-being. I was talking to someone the other day and they were saying this. They're like, we had this same conversation. This is what brought this up. They're like, my mental and emotional well-being, I think it's messing it up. And I'm like, it is. You can't be watching and listening to hours and hours and hours of angry people, whether what side it is, just this anger and ego, anger and ego. And then you're turning around and you're supposed to be loving and caring to your family, to your partner, to your spouse, to your kids. No, it's got you on edge mentally and emotionally. It's messed you up and hooked you. It's just drama over and over and over again, constantly. Guys, establish boundaries for consuming news and political content. Make time for other activities that nurture your spiritual growth, that nurture your personal development. And I hope this helps, guys, because being a self-aware leader in a polarized world is not an easy task, but it is possible. You know how it's possible? It's possible with intention, with empathy, and humility. And when you begin cultivating emotional intelligence, when you begin practicing active listening, when you begin finding common ground, when you begin embracing humility and staying informed without being consumed, then you begin to navigate the political landscape as a self-aware leader with grace and wisdom. Isn't that beautiful? So remember, as leaders, our goal is to bring people together to inspire growth and contribute positively to a world that is around us.